Okay, good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining us. Given that it's a couple minutes after 6 and you have probably worked hard to be here on time, I'm going to go ahead and get started. My name is Pei Hugh, and I am the Assistant Superintendent of Belmont-Redwood Shore School District. I was joined by Principal Gloria Higgins from Sandpiper a few minutes ago, but she was working from the district office and we've been having some power issues. So she got booted from the internet. I don't know if she's going to be able to join us tonight. She might come back on. Let me just remind my family real quick that they can be heard. Hang on just Okay, so I'm going to talk to you a little bit about Belmont-Redwood Shores as a school district, a little bit about TK kindergarten, and then we're going to go into registration information. If you have questions throughout the evening, go ahead and use the chat. I think Jerome is on, our tech director is here as well. I believe chat is active, so you should be able to ask me any questions. I will try my best to monitor and answer those questions live. Um, all right. So a little bit about Belmont-Redwood Shores. We are a great little district here right in the Mid-Peninsula. We serve students who live in Belmont and Redwood Shores, part of Redwood City. Our district basically runs from the top of Ralston all the way down the hill into the shores. And you can see that we have 7 schools and we serve students in grades TK through 8 in general ed. And we do have a preschool program for 3 and 4-year-olds. Belmont-Redwood Shore School District has numerous awards because we are a great community. Mostly it's participating families, supportive community, and great principals that make a fantastic little district. We have just under 4,000 students. Each of our schools has been noted for one thing or another. Cipriani recently won a Kent Award for their community gardens program just last school year. Fox received the National Blue Ribbon Award in 2020. We have Blue Ribbon schools, we have California Distinguished Schools. We serve students all throughout the district, and we are really proud of the distinct personalities, yet aligned schools that we have across the community. From a very objective measure, the state of California has something called the California School Dashboard that rates every school district in the state of California on a variety of factors. Being a school district, I think the first thing that comes to mind for families is how well do our students do academically? In this dashboard rating that the California Department of Ed puts together, all schools receive a color rating on this rainbow scale of red, orange, yellow, green, and blue. Blue really means we are performing at the highest level possible. Not only do we have high performance, we maintain high performance year after year, as well as an ability to continue to demonstrate growth across our community. Welcome, Mrs. Higgins. It's so good to have you here, and I'm so glad not to be talking to these folks alone. They're going to be very happy to have a break in voice as well. As you can see, BRSSD schools rank in the blue for our English language arts and our mathematics performance. If you are curious to learn more about the various factors and all the different student groups, you can Google California School Dashboard, or you can click on that link, which reminds me, I want to put into the chat for everybody the slides so that you can access them and follow along or access them later. They are viewable to anyone. So all of these hyperlinks are actually functional. Here in Belmont-Redwood Shores, we really do believe that part of the reason we have such success is because we have dedicated teachers and staff. We focus on the whole child, and we really want to encourage strong parent involvement. Raising children really does take a village. Good schooling takes a village, and we can't do this on our own, just like we hope you feel like you can't do it on your own as well. As I mentioned earlier, we do have 7 distinct schools with very various personalities. We are very proud of the fact that each community has their own, I don't know, their own essence. But across the district, all of our schools do follow an aligned curriculum. All of our curriculum are standards-based and follow the Common Core state standards as adopted by the state of California. Some of you might be a little bit more or less tapped in and know that we're in the every year there's new curriculum and there's maybe a little bit of a language war, as there kind of always is. Our English language arts curriculum will be up for adoption in a couple of years once the state releases the new framework. Our math curriculum is up for adoption in the next year and a half. This time next year, we should have the list of approved curricula that the state says we can choose from, and then our team will choose from that. But we do have language arts, math, science, social studies, and social emotional learning at all of our schools for all of our students. Here's a sample of your daily schedule. You're probably wondering, this may be your first child that you're launching into either TK or kindergarten. All of our TK students follow a 4-hour day, 5 days a week. The schedule doesn't change. This is roughly the schedule. Every school does have a slightly different start or end time as we try and work in all of the traffic and dismissal, and we try to make sure to keep Ralston as free as possible. School typically starts at 8:20. And kids will be in class for the first hour and a half or so. They'll have recess. And then sometime between recess and dismissal, there will be another break for lunch. We do offer universal meals to all of our students. So all of our students are served lunch in a congregate setting 5 days a week. Kindergarten is similar, but they do stay a little bit longer. So after lunch and lunch recess, they will come back to the classroom for a bit more instruction, and they dismiss about 1:30. I mentioned a second ago that we do offer universal meals in the state of California. This is regardless of your formal qualification for free or reduced lunch, which is a federal program. We do have breakfast and lunch that is served every day for every student. We don't care what your status is. We care that our students are well fed and ready. Breakfast does take part in school during the instructional day, and lunch is served outside of instructional time and typically followed by a midday recess. The only time where that might be a little bit different is in TK because we have such a short amount of time with the students. If you do qualify for federal free and reduced lunch, we have paperwork that is pretty simple to fill in, but does need to be filled in generally on an annual basis. And that qualifies you as a family for additional services. So if you believe you formally qualify for free and reduced lunch, we do encourage you to please make sure you apply and let us know so that we can make sure you get the proper services. Regardless of whether paperwork is filled in or not, all children will get a free lunch and a free breakfast. Okay, so as we think about TK, for some of our kids, this may be the first time they are stepping out of the home or stepping out of a home daycare situation and learning with many other peers. We do have 20 some children in each classroom. We do have 2 adults, so the ratio is a little different at TK than it is at kinder or first grade, but there's still some basic skills that we hope that our kids can work on between now and August. I think a primary skill for our youngsters, especially for the youngest ones who are just going to be 4 years old, really working on honing the bathroom skills, asking to use the restroom, using the restroom independently, knowing how to wipe and clean and wash hands is a very important life skill. And I don't think there's a single adult in the audience who didn't learn how to do it. But the more secure we are in this skill when we start school, the easier the transition will be for your child. I think it's a learning curve to go from following a child's lead oftentimes in a home daycare situation, or even grandma or grandpa taking care of the child, where I as the child get to dictate, what do I want to do, when do I want to do it, what game do I want to play. The adults in my realm play the game that I want to play. When we come to school, when it's time to play with peers, I don't always get to choose the game. I do have to learn to take turns. I do have to learn that sometimes my friend gets to choose and sometimes I get to choose. There's also some kind of gross motor skills that we sometimes take for granted at home. I know when my parents are around, they like to help my children a little bit more than I help them, but it's important that our kids know how to button their pants. That's part of the independent restroom use, snapping clothes, zipping jackets, being able to take a jacket on and off throughout the day, because as you know, it's cold, cold, cold in the morning. And oftentimes in California, by lunchtime, it gets warm and kids want to start shedding layers. And it's important that a child know how to take that layer off when they're starting to feel warm, because if they overheat, they're uncomfortable. And sometimes we're not good at verbalizing our discomfort, which leads to other meltdowns. Really important that kids learn how to wash their hands properly. I think in a post-COVID era, this may not be as big of a deal. I think we've all taught our children to sing the happy birthday song or the ABC song twice while using soap and water, scrubbing between the fingers, underneath the nail beds. I think we've had copious posters throughout their childhood that have taught them how to do this. And the other piece that will really, really help when they are in a congregate setting is learning how to open their own snack pouches. Whatever we send for parents can send snacks, parents can send lunch. I remember being a second grade teacher. Oftentimes my kids couldn't open the thing that was sent and they really wanted to eat, whether it was peeling the orange they didn't know how to peel or popping open a glass container. Just please make sure that your child has some practice opening and popping open snack bags and understanding where to rip those fruit snack packages. Some of them are a little bit tricky, even for adults. Similarly, for kindergarten, we're going to teach your children everything they need to do from an academic perspective. There is no expectation that kids know their letters and sounds and can read when they come to school. We get that at 4 and 5, their job is to come ready to learn. If your children are interested and are showing readiness, some of the skills that might be helpful in kindergarten are up on the screen right now. But please know, this is not a drill and kill, go to the store and buy a Kumon book between now and August. If your child doesn't know how to write their name on the first day of school, that's okay. They're kindergartners. Our teachers are going to teach them that. But in our community, a lot of kids are ready to learn. So these are the things that could be helpful that aren't going to push them too far. Writing their name, potentially recognizing the letters in their name, practicing cutting with scissors. This is a good gross motor, fine motor practice, going from cutting big things to cutting a little bit more minute. Recognizing, counting, and writing numbers to 10. These are just things that happen in life. But I just want to underscore, just because you have kids who are interested and you're ready to teach them and they're picking those up really easily, I do not want you to feel like you have to know how to do these things before you come to kindergarten. Okay? They are going to learn this. Our teachers are prepared to help them. That's just a quick overview of BRSSD. As I was saying earlier, if you have questions, you can feel free to drop them in the chat. I will monitor and respond to the questions. I see that there's nothing there at the moment. Hopefully that doesn't mean that it's not working. But Mrs. Higgins is going to talk to you a little bit about our next steps.
I am, and thank you very much, Miss Hugh. If you could drive the slides, that would be fantastic. It is so nice to be here with all of you. I am Gloria Higgins. I am the principal at Sandpiper School, and we have this year 3 TK classes and two kindergarten classes. And we very much enjoy the time that we get to spend with our what we call our littles. So up on the screen here, you can see the TK kindergarten enrollment dates. The timeline is published on the district website, and it is essentially here in front of you. So registration window is open now. The online portal is up and running. Um, if you have a current TK student or you have a sibling who's registering, those intent to return surveys were due last week. And that sibling enrollment priority period closes February 14th. You will be getting your school assignments for current TK and K siblings or current TK students via US mail in early March. After that, you can see that we have different periods for enrollment for first period, second period, new enrollees, and the dates for their assignment notifications are there. I do want to make a shout out or give a shout out for Parent Square. This is the tool that we use for all official school communication. This is a district-wide tool. Every school uses it. It has some really great features for both group and individual messaging. It's got a great app that you can use on your phone. You will receive an invitation to Parent Square to the contact information that you give on your registration packet. And once you are assigned to school, you'll start receiving school communications. So it's important to make sure your contact information is correct and be watching for that Parent Square invitation. Again, a lot of words up here on the slide, but essentially the enrollment portal is open, and Miss Hugh did give you the link to the slides in the chat, so you can access those links. You will need the following items during your registration, so your parent ID, your driver's license or passport, the student's original birth certificate, and proof of residency, and that could be a property tax bill or an affidavit for sure shared residency, and two of your utility bills, so PG&E, water, cable bill, phone bill, those kinds of things. Very important that your child's immunizations are up to date, so please do take care of those. We understand doctors get busy, particularly during the enrollment season, so you might want to reach out to your healthcare provider now and just check in with them about the timeline for your vaccinations.
Can I just jump in and give
Please.
one request?
Yes.
I We are moving over to a fully online system, and this is the first time we are asking families to upload everything to the system. Those of you who feel like you can't handle that and need help, you can still make an appointment and come to the office. We will help you. But for the most part, the request that I have as I was watching over the shoulder of one of our registrar assistants, when you upload the documents, it's really helpful when you choose from the drop-down menu and you say that the ID is the ID instead of just uploading 6 documents.
Yeah.
That way, when our staff go in to verify that the ID is there, they can actually, it's just easier to see than document 1, document 2, document 3.
Okay. Thank you for adding that. That last bullet item, if your child has an active IEP or individualized education plan or 504 plan, you would know if they have that. If they have that, it's so helpful to get that at registration time. Again, beginning with this school year, this upcoming school year, everything is completely online. You can schedule an appointment, as Miss Hugh was sharing, and please do upload those documents into Aries. Make sure those immunizations are up to date. And if you need to, you can use a shared residency affidavit to establish proof of residency. Our school sites have childcare options for aftercare or before care. Those are listed here on the screen. They are private or separate providers, so we don't necessarily at the school sites have any information about their wait lists, their registration fees, but the contact information for each of them are up here on the screen. At Sandpiper, we're lucky we have two really wonderful care options, champions, or Sandpiper Youth Club. At our other schools, it may be San Carlos Belmont Aftercare, at Foxer Central, and Footsteps, also really wonderful programs at our other schools. Ooh, how did I get this slide,
That's
Miss Hugh?
okay. I'll take it.
For it. Take it. Take it.
I mentioned earlier, some of your students do qualify for additional subsidies. This Expanded Learning Opportunities Program is one of these additional subsidies. As the state of California requires, we do provide an after-school program that creates a 9-hour instructional day for a certain subset of our students. If your child is eligible, they will be invited to participate, and the care would happen at your school after school. So you don't have to we don't have to transport kids back and forth. Your child doesn't have to worry about going to another school. Your child would attend at their own school site. The Expanded Learning Opportunities Program is basically our way of providing for our students who are eligible for free and reduced lunch, who are considered socioeconomically disadvantaged, as well as our English learners who need additional learning time. The students who qualify for a free and reduced lunch get a full subsidy of tuition. The students who are English learners get a reserved spot. The programs do happen at these school sites, these on-site programs. So if you are a Sandpiper TK student, you would participate in ELOP at either Champions or Sandpiper Youth Center. They're both impacted programs, but if you are an ELOP student, we reserve a space for you with them. And if you are an ELOC eligible child who is also eligible for free and reduced lunch, you not only get a reserved spot, you get a free reserved spot. So again, really important for those of you who are eligible to apply so that we can provide the necessary services to the kids and reserve the correct amount of spaces.
Yes.
Again, you will, if you qualify, you'll get invited. So if you don't hear anything from us, don't worry. You can always reach out to me and ask questions. I'll put my email in the chat.
All right, thank you. So age eligibility, as you may infer from this slide, we had a ramp up to the eligibility for TK, adding 3 months every year, and we are now fully in a year's worth of students. So for the 25-26 school year, that gray oval at the bottom, TK is open to all students who turn 4 by September 1st. And kindergarten is open to all students who turn 5 by September 1st. We do not make exceptions to that. So please do know that those are pretty firm dates. And regardless of your student's age, when they start school, will be just the right time for them to start school. School Force and PTA do work together to support all of our students. This can sometimes be a little bit confusing for parents, but our PTAs you're probably the most familiar with. Those are parent-teacher associations, and they have a mission to support community building, and they do raise some funds, but that's not their core mission. They really are about building community and providing enrichments for our students. School Force is our Belmont-Redwood Shores School District local educational foundation. They are all about fundraising, and they fundraise for the purpose of providing exceptional educational experiences for our students. So things like our science specialist, our music and arts programming, field trips, all of these things School Force and PTA partner on to ensure that the funding is there for those enriching experiences and the community is there to implement them. So we encourage you to be part of that work through your generous donations of time or money, or through your volunteering. You can see up there on the slide that you truly are your child's first and most important teacher. I believe that deep in my heart, and there are many ways in which we can benefit from your partnership, and we appreciate, welcome, and encourage your partnership. Whether you want to be a room parent and support with communication, I don't need to read the slide. You guys can see the ways in which you can volunteer there. And here's just some smiling faces. You can see exactly how PTA and School Force come together to really create a place where our students thrive. Just a few examples of what BRSSD parents say about our schools. I particularly like to point out things like the caring social emotional learning support. So important, equally as important as the academic challenge and enrichment that your students get. We have a vision for the future. We're a very innovative district. We have a very strong tradition of excellence. And that is in large part because of the parent community and local support that we have. So thank you for that. And we're here to help. This is the contact information for Jocelyn Hernandez Gomez. She is the receptionist at the district office and can take care of any of the enrollment questions that you have. If you need to set up an appointment to get some help with registration, she's the person to call. And nothing left to say, but we are here to help you welcome your student into our schools next year.